Since Saturday, we have been experiencing a large weather system that has been dumping water onto our fields, onto our yards, around our house. And a lot of this water has not been able to penetrate the soil and drain away. So the water table must be quite high for the water to constantly keep running into our house. This morning, however, we found that our sump pump was running but not accomplishing anything, and we had about 4 inches of water crawling into our basement, in many areas up to 4 inches. Now the floor here, since this house is from the 1950s, the basement here is not overly great, and so some areas are lower than others, but realistically this water that likes to come into this area here is supposed to run off and go to our drain hole. Now this drain hole is attached to our septic tank, and so this water runs out through the pipe outside into our new tank, because the tank was placed there probably around 2018, 2019, before we bought the plates. And the sump hole water pumps into this drain pipe and out into the septic tank. Now of course we have hydro wire here next to our pipe here that runs into our tank and runs the septic tank pump. And that pump is supposed to pump this water out into the bush, which is a couple of 100 feet away. Now this morning when we came in here, water was literally gushing out of this hole rather than going into the hole. So that meant that our pump inside our septic tank did not function, and so was filling up more and more. So technically our septic water was coming back in the house. Now it seemed to have been mainly water. I don't see any solids coming back into the house or anything like that, so we were lucky that way. But the pressure of the water still coming into our basement, plus the water that's still basically coming from our tank, meant that our pump was not working. So I looked at hydro to see if there was a hydro issue, but no, it was not a hydro issue. It was a pump issue. So I have an extra pump, and so I went outside and I pumped the water out of our septic tank into our lawn, and so we got it away from the house and away from the tank, and we managed to get the tank basically empty. So with that, of course, the water started receding, and so we've been trying to push water back into our hole here. And of course now we see that our sump pump here is the only one that keeps pumping moisture in here. I also have a dehumidifier running to keep the air a little bit drier, because of course a lot of water means a lot of humidity, and with a lot of humidity you could get mold issues. So I don't want to get any mold issues. So I've been trying to work hard to keep this water from coming in, but of course there's nothing we can do from stopping it to go into our house. Now, since it's a house of the 1950s, there is no weeping tile connected to this house. So in 97, when they decided to build on, they created a crawl space and not an extended basement, which was, I think, mistake number one. Then they did not put weeping tile around the house when they had the opportunity, when they were digging. So with no weeping tile around the house, the basement of course is prone to flooding when there is too much water, when the water table is too high. And right now, after 3.3 inches of rain since Saturday, 84 millimeters of water, we continue to have flooding, we have continued to have problems. So the next couple of days we will have to spend our time on trying to push more of this water out. Hopefully the rain will now subside and we will see a drying of our area. Hopefully the water table goes down, and with that, hopefully no more water coming into the basement. And if the basement stops getting flooded from outside and that is all drained off, then of course we can dry it up in here. I already managed to pretty well destroy my shop vac with this. The engine is just making so much noise, it's unbearable to listen to. So what we're doing is we're just using a squeegee and we just push the water down towards the hole, and we hope that natural drainage will occur as well to the lowest points. But you can see in the cold room and everything there's lots of water here, so I'm using my Milwaukee pump to pump this out, and then an hour later it's back full again, and so I have to pump again. This is what we've been dealing with all morning, and luckily we caught it early enough on, and because that's the odd thing, because Wednesday typically is our grocery day, but since today is July 1st or Canada Day, we're home. And so we noticed by getting some supplies from our basement that the water actually was coming through the hole into the basement rather than out. And so we had to correct that situation. Right now, with the pump that we have extra into the septic tank, water will come out and the tank will not fill up, and so we shouldn't get a backflow back here into our basement here. But as you can hear from the sump hole, this is the direct connection that we have with groundwater. This is quite high and water is still coming into, but this sump hole, when they made it, it was just a tiny little pail. I fixed it up, I dug out the hole a little bit better, made it a little deeper, got it installed a little bit better so that the sump hole is working here, but it's not enough, and especially with not having any weeping tile around the house, it can come into the areas from the outside wall, and so in our cold storage room along the wall it comes in and it fills up the cold storage room. Then of course we have another room on this side here, and this one here also likes to fill up quite rapidly, and so that's why there's lots of water. You can see here how much water is still moving around, and I can sweep this away and it looks better for a couple of minutes, but then it fills right away back up. And it seems to be that cracks in the floor, like this crack over here, seems to be the culprit, among others, of allowing this groundwater that is now really high to come into our basement. So yeah, as you can see, homesteading is not always rosy, beautiful weather and ideal situations. We have a garden outside. I probably will make a short of that can show you how much water is sitting in our garden, and our beans literally are drowning because of all the water that we have. And 3.3 inches is not the only terrible thing, because less than a week ago, in the early days of last week, we also had 1.9 inches. So if you combine the two, you're well over 5 inches of rain, and that for a rainy season in June is quite a lot. Because monthly, I don't think we reach maybe 100 to 120 mil, maybe 4 to 5 inches for the month. But of course, getting 5 inches in 1 week, having already had a lot of moisture from previous rainfalls, it's been quite a lot. Now, I'm not suffering as bad as other people are in the province. There are many places where flooding has become extreme. And of course, you may have heard all the flooding inside of Alberta as well. It's been quite a few monster systems of moisture coming through our area. So we hope that this is it now, and then hopefully next week we get some sunshine, we dry up, we can get our basement cleaned out, we can get it dried up, and we can get back in the garden, and hopefully we can save what we can save. I'm very glad I made all these raised garden beds, which will protect most of our crops that we planted in there. So the potatoes and all that are well drained, and the water is just sitting in the field. And anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for continued support. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet. If you want to join our homestead, I would truly appreciate it. Just about 40 subscribers away from 1,000, so I would really appreciate it if I could get those 40 and get over 1,000. That would be a nice milestone in the first 2.5 years of our channel. So again, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye bye.